Good afternoon. These are your BYU-Idaho radio evening headlines for Monday, July 20th, 2026. Thanks for listening. I'm Noah Allen. The second half of the Pioneer League baseball season is officially underway. The Idaho Falls Chukars took third to last in the first half of the season with a record of 15 wins to 33 losses. Fortunately for them, however, this league can be the tale of two halves, and things are looking slightly better for the Idaho Falls Chukars as they sit at an even 3 wins and 3 losses at the start of the second half, which puts the team right in the middle of the standings after a decidedly rough first half of the season. Over the duration of the first half of the season and into the second half, the Idaho Falls Chukars did have some bright spots that came in the form of Sam Canton, Garrett Ostrander, and Justin Trimble. Canton led all of his teammates in batting average, sitting at .391, runs batted in at 73, and home runs at 17, with Trimble just behind him in all the same categories, with a batting average of .383, 60 runs batted in, and 15 home runs. Ostrander stands at the top of the stolen base list for his team, sitting at 11. With how close some of those numbers look, it will be fun to see how it all shakes out and who stands at the top by the end of the season. Though the Chukar season continues to look a little shaky, tryouts were held in Marysville, California just this past weekend, which shows the possibility of some more talent coming down the pipeline for the Chukars. One BYU-Idaho student is walking 1,000 miles for the people of Tibet and is set to finish this week. Jack Esplin has the story.
One BYU-Idaho student is using his passion for hiking and walking to spread awareness for millions of people worldwide. Thomas King Jackson, a junior at BYU-Idaho, started his 1,000-mile walk for Tibet in mid-May and is set to wrap it up this week. Since the 1950s, the region of Tibet has been part of Western China. Jackson says its people have been heavily persecuted and haven't had independence for 60 to 75 years. His goal for his 1,000-mile journey is to raise awareness for Tibet and to free its people from persecution.
And at the beginning of the semester, I was like, I just kind of felt like I wasn't doing anything. I was going to classes, I was going to work, but that was my whole day. And I realized I had been talking to people, and no one really in my generation especially knew about Tibet. If they had heard about it at all, they usually didn't know the terrible situation over there.
Jackson spends his free time walking 15 to 20 miles a day around parts of southeast Idaho and western Wyoming and posts highlights of his miles on social media, which get tens of thousands of views.
And it's almost all Tibetans, which is interesting because the point was to raise awareness with non-Tibetans who don't know what's going on. But instead, my account has sort of become this inspiration for a lot of them because they're excited to see someone who's not Tibetan who knows about it. And so I get hundreds of comments every day of people being like, so excited because people, the world doesn't really know about Tibet. And so that's sort of what it's become. It's been pretty sweet to see that.
Although Jackson lived in both India and the Himalayas, his passion for Tibetan freedom came from his father. Jackson's dad has been to Tibet 3 times and has raised funds for education in Tibet. Jackson wants to spread the message of Tibet to as many people as possible.
At this point, all we can do is just keep that fire burning. If the topic loses attention around the world, the cause will be lost if that happens. And so the whole point of this was just to keep that spark alive. I'm a walker, I'm a hiker. Those are things I know I can do and I love to do already. So I was like, how can I turn that into a way I can advocate for something I'm passionate about, which is Tibet? And so, yeah, really, it was just my message has always been, don't forget Tibet, keep the fire burning. And I feel like I've done the best I can in that so far.
To keep up with Jackson's journey, just follow him on Instagram and YouTube at Thomas King Company. For BYU-Idaho Radio, I'm Jack Esplin.
A 36-year-old Rexburg man faces life in prison. He's charged with multiple counts of child sexual abuse in Madison County. Joshua Daniel Swager is charged with 5 counts of lewd conduct with a minor under 16 and 2 counts of sexual abuse of a child under 16. EastIdahoNews.com reports that according to court documents, Rexburg police launched an investigation in late May after a counselor reported disclosures made by the female victim. Police say the alleged incidents occurred between 2021 and 2022, when the victim was 9 and 10 years old. Investigators report the alleged abuse included multiple assaults, including one incident where Swager allegedly drugged the child before assaulting her. This case is not Swager's first run-in with the law, as he was previously arrested last year in a separate case involving the alleged strangulation of a 3-year-old child. That case is still pending. If convicted on the recent charges, Swager faces up to life in prison and fines of up to $350,000. His bond is set at $25,000, and a jury trial is scheduled for November 17th. These have been your BYU-Idaho Radio evening headlines for July 20th, 2026. Thanks for tuning in. More news, interviews, and great content are available on our podcast feed. Just search for BYU-Idaho Radio on your favorite podcast apps. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and more. You can also just ask your smart speakers to play KBYI 94.3 FM. This is BYU-Idaho Radio, and I'm Noah Allen.